Hey guys, so today's video is going to be on my fish tank back here. I'm filming it after it's all been done, but it was kind of a mess before. It was fine, it was all clean, but it just looked really crappy. And I thought it would be a good opportunity to film a video and show kind of people my process behind rescaping a tank and like what I look for in making a really nice fish tank, because that seems to be something a lot of people struggle with, is finding a kind of nice balance between happy and healthy fish and then nice looking tank, and that satisfies kind of what you're into. So I'm gonna kind of go through the process of how I set this up and how I made it look nice, and hopefully you can learn something and apply it to your own fish tank at home if you have one. So this is what the tank looks like right now. It's a mess. It looked really nice, and then I went and bought a bunch of more plants, and some of them have come up and part of the stems have rotted just because I didn't put them in super properly, and just haven't bothered to scrape the algae off, which is fine, you don't need to, it's mostly a visual thing. But I want it to look nice now because I'm sick of this jungle that's got going, and I want it to look pretty. So I'm going to tear it all down, and then once it's all out and I'm going to start rescaping it, then I will cut back. Alright, so here we are. I had to wait for like a little bit of it to clear up, but this is just the kind of hardscape that I wanted to start with. It took a lot longer than I thought because the two pieces of wood on either end were originally screwed into pieces of slate. So I took those off because it made things quite a bit easier to actually like move them around and then be able to plant it. So I'm decently okay with this. It's more the wood in the middle that I'm like kind of iffy about right now. Before I start planting, I'll go into my philosophy behind aquascaping and making a nice looking fish tank, and that is I like a little bit of asymmetry, but not enough that would look completely unnatural. So there's always going to be an element of like nature, and most importantly with flow. Like the actual tank has to flow with your eye, and it has to create focal points. So immediately when you're looking at this tank without any of the plants in it, your immediate focal point comes to that big long branch on the left side. That's the very first thing that your eye is going to see, right? And so that left side now, even though that branch is very, very complex, it doesn't draw your eye that way. Then it gets drawn to the right side because of the way that that branch is shaped. You'll then look at the branch that's kind of behind it, and then it flows down towards the right side and everything kind of around there. So that is where my like kind of focal point is. So that is where the asymmetry comes in, that I've kind of got the left half as 1/3 and the right side as the second 2/3. And it's kind of split that way. It's not a half and half where the focal point isn't directly in the center. It's just very slightly off center, and then the rest of where your eye is going to go is more to one side, and then you're going to go to the left side on the other one. So that's how I'm going to try to get my planting. I want to try and keep this kind of space in the middle rather free, but again, we'll see how it goes depending on where the plants go, because I have a metric crap ton of plants and I want to use them all. So they might end up taking up a little bit, but that's okay. We'll kind of see where it goes and kind of decide where stuff is going to go afterwards. So I think we're good to start planting, and I'll show you what we have to work with. So you saw the two big Amazon swords that I had in there just because they are massive. I wanted to put them in there because I knew they'd be kind of the main focus. But these are all the plants that I have to work with. So these are the kind of taller stem plants. These are some middle ground plants, and then some more middle ground and foreground plants. I don't know exactly what species every single one of them is, but there is a lot of, we've got, I believe this is a Rotala, we've got some Java Fern. These red plants here I believe are high grows, a lot of different types of swords. We've got some ocelots, some melon swords, there's some Anubias as well. These are some tissue culture red high grows, some more Java Fern that's come off of this really big one. We've got some dwarf sage, that's a small carpeting plant. This really nice red plant, I'm not entirely sure what it is. It's like a red and white and green kind of plant, is really nice. And then this one here, again, I'm not sure what it is, with another freshwater lily there. So that's what we have to work with, and I'm pumped. Let's get started. So what I'm doing there is I'm adding some of these kind of taller stem plants more towards the back, which is where you want them. So I added some kind of over in this area, I added some over here to just kind of fill in some of those gaps. And the ones back here are just to kind of block off this side to create this like kind of nice portrait in the middle where we've got this kind of big area where the fish can swim with lots of places for them to hide. And again, it helps you focus your eye right onto that focal point. And then you've got your kind of extra stuff over here. So I'm going to build up this area over here with a lot more middle ground plants, and then here we'll have some kind of smaller ones, so it goes high, low, and then kind of middle with tall in the back, small in the front. So that's kind of what I'm trying to work at. So I do have a couple more tall stems. I don't necessarily know exactly where I want them yet. I might plant a couple of them just like individually, or as a bunch. I'm not entirely sure yet. So I think I'm going to start working with some of the middle ground first, and then maybe kind of go back to some of those taller plants afterwards. Sorry, this is such a nice sword plant. I love it. So right there, ooh, that's really hard to see, but I added the two swords on the right side there, so to hopefully kind of let the branches wrap around them, kind of giving that feel, and then hopefully once they start kind of growing out, I'll bring some of the leaves kind of in between. This is a lot better, I'll keep it like this. This is another beautiful sword plant. So far I've used only green plants. I mean, those, again, I believe they're rotala, it's a type of rotala. They are kind of like a reddish green, but for the most part it's just the green plants. The red plants are, number one, a lot harder to grow, and two, they will definitely stand out more because I have less of them. So I really want to put those in areas where I know they're going to pop and like really create a sense of vision. So I think that I'm going to add the small high growths kind of around these rocks here, and then maybe some of the taller stems kind of in the back, kind of coming along that way. And we've got this kind of nice path in between. I'm kind of digging that. Maybe some kind of around there too, so that it'll draw you right to the focal point with the red. But we'll see. I'm not entirely sure. We'll kind of just play at it and we'll see what we've got. Okay, so I'm really loving that, where that is right now. If you can see there on the left side. I really, really like those. And then we're gonna add the smaller ones right kind of along the front here, right in front there. Ooh, it's gonna look good. I'm excited. I think that looks super dope. So that's what I just did there. It's very hard to see right now, just again because of the water. But so I've added these smaller high growths here in the front with the same plant that's not the miniature species kind of in the back. So it's creating this really, really nice boom, like pop of color where everything else will be kind of green. Oh, it's gonna look so good. I'm so excited. All right, so next is this. I love this Anubias. It's beautiful. It's very big too, and it was a steal. I got it for like $2. I'm really trying to like push the boundaries of my own creativity with the amount of plants that I have, so I'm hoping that it'll turn out okay. We still have some more red plants, and I'm kind of thinking right kind of in front of the filter right there, maybe like right behind here to kind of hide that area. Alright, here is the finished product for now. It's obviously still kind of cloudy, the fish are still acclimating. But I think it looks quite good. I'm pretty happy with it. This side is like a jungle, and I'm kind of digging it, I have to say. I know I said I didn't really want that before, or that's like kind of why I was redoing it. But I think once it grows in just like a little bit, and once the plants get kind of reestablished, it'll look great. This side looks fantastic. I'm really, really pleased with it. I love the high grow here. I love the plants in the back. I'm digging this. Once this plant refills out again, because it was kind of, as you can see, not super thick right now, I think it'll look amazing. And I'm really happy with these guys and where that part looks, and we still have this kind of nice trail, and I love the contrast we have of the high grow here with this dwarf sage. Like the green versus this pinky red, like I think looks really good. And then I love this plant here. This is Anubias Nana Petite, if my camera will focus. It's a very, very small species of Anubias. And then all here, these are just baby Java ferns I had from my mother plant, which is all the way in the back there. And it constantly is producing little babies, so I kind of tucked it in the back there. If these start to get big, I'm probably just going to give them away to my friends. So friends with fish tanks, if you want some Java fern, let me know. I'm pretty happy. It looks a lot better than what it did before, and I definitely think I'm able to maintain this a lot more, because the plants that I always have to cut back are this one here in the back. I always have to cut that one back, but now it'll actually be able to grow up, and it'll kind of create this like nice archway like that. I think it'll look cool. So that one I always have to cut back, and then obviously the Java fern I always do as well. And sometimes those kind of like furry ones that I have in the back there, I believe again those are a type of rotala. But yeah, overall, really happy. And once it's all cleared up and the fish are in, and I'm gonna keep the lights off and let the fish acclimate and all that for the next day or two. It looks so good already. I'm glad the fish are enjoying it already. Like they've already acclimated. Like they don't even seem stressed at all. They've got all their color back like instantly. So I'm very pleased. Oh, they look so good. I'm so happy. Alright, so it's now the morning after. I have finished the tank. It's not totally clear, but it's good enough to show you the results, and I am really quite happy with how it turned out, I think. I managed to get this really nice balance, which is exactly what I try and get when I design a fish tank, which is a balance that is very much in between a professional looking aquascape but with some of the kind of disorder and chaos of nature, which is what I always really strive to achieve, is that I don't want it to look too perfect, but I don't want it to look too much like the natural world. Like it's got to kind of be somewhere in between, and that's where I like to lie in my aquascapes, because I think that it's pretty unique. And I want a fish tank that doesn't look like somebody else's. Like I want it to look like something that is mine, something that I designed myself, and something that I'm going to be, most importantly, happy to look at. And that obviously the fish are going to be happy. And there's so many different places for these fish to hide in here. And pretty much since the minute I put them in, like you could see on the footage, like they all got their color back instantly, and all of them were out and about in the middle of the tank, which is exactly what my goal was, that providing so many different little nooks and crannies for them to go and hide in all the different foliage just gives them that security of wanting to come out and wanting to explore around, and they don't feel as threatened by having no places to hide. This extra security will make them want to come out more, which is like exactly my goal, and I'm so happy that it has worked. So I'll get you up close to show you some bit more of it, and you can enjoy just the relaxing nature of this fish tank, which is now even better than when I had it before, and I can't wait to just sit here and look at it. Thank you guys so much for watching if you made it this far. If you haven't already, please subscribe and like the video. I am working on trying to upload some more often now, as I'm trying to kind of get the hang of this and get my stuff together. And I have a lot of video ideas coming out soon that'll be more kind of focused on my animals and pet care and stuff like that in the future. So be on the lookout for that, and follow all my links in the description to check out my different articles and my website, so you can get lots of information on what you need to find. So again, thanks for watching. Have a good one.